Daily new COVID-19 cases in the country have reached a 6-month high, more than 100,000 infections in a single day, mainly in places with low vaccination rates. So the White House is now pondering whether to withhold federal funds from nursing homes, cruise ships, and universities to force them to require vaccines. And ABC's Stephanie Ramos tells us the U.S. military today is expected to recommend mandatory vaccination for active duty troops.
The Army specifically has sent out surveys this past year to really gauge how soldiers are feeling about the vaccine. If they haven't received it, will they get it? And if they have received the vaccine, when did they get it?
ABC News has learned the FDA is expected to recommend a plan to give booster shots to the immunocompromised for whom the vaccines are not as effective. The plan is expected by early September. This is another day of travel chaos for passengers of Spirit Airlines, which canceled half its flights today. Spirit Chief Ted Christie told ABC News it's been a terrible week.
We offer our apology to all of our guests that have been impacted here and to our team members who are working really hard. It's been a rough week for sure.
He blamed the weather and logistics failures for flight cancellations all week that have left thousands stranded. Hezbollah said it fired rockets at Israel today in retaliation for airstrikes on southern Lebanon. Israel's new government has been taking a hard line against Iran, which backs Hezbollah. The Taliban claimed credit today for killing the head of the Afghan government's information center. He was a Taliban critic murdered after Friday prayers in Kabul. At the Olympics, a gold medal for Team USA's beach volleyball duo of April Ross and Alex Kleinman.
I'm just so grateful that things worked out. You know, we put it all out there, and this has been just such a fairy tale ending and dream experience for us.
She and Ross beat Australia in straight sets. Mexico just won bronze in men's soccer. You're listening to ABC News.
In their recent budget proposal, the White House Budget Office forecast inflation for 2021 at 2.1%. In June, the actual rate was 5.4%. The point? Inflation is here. It's coming faster than our government is prepared for, and the solution is to stick their heads in the sand. Now, don't stick your head in the sand. This is Dinesh D'Souza urging you to hedge against inflation by diversifying into gold and silver with Birch Gold Group. Through a little-known tax loophole, Birch Gold Group can help you convert your retirement savings tied to the stock market into an IRA backed by precious metals. I buy my gold from Birch Gold. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and countless 5-star reviews. Get a free information kit by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. Again, text PROTECT to 989898. To claim your free, no-obligation information kit and to speak with a precious metals expert on holding gold and silver in a tax-sheltered account.
A wildfire burning in Northern California scorched more than 360,000 acres. It has also ravaged the historic gold rush town of Greenville, California, destroying more than 100 homes. The local sheriff, Todd Johns, lives there.
To the folks that have lost residences and businesses, I've met some of them already. Their life is now forever changed, and all I can tell you is I'm sorry.
That wildfire has been burning since mid-July. Apple's latest attempt to fight sexual predators online is raising some concern among privacy advocates.
Apple says it's rolling out a new software update this fall that will allow the company to detect images of sexual abuse that are stored on Apple devices and the cloud. Some critics calling it bulk surveillance of Apple devices. But experts say the software uses a matching technique which scans for photos already documented by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. According to Apple, even the company can't see what's being scanned until something is determined illegal. And the company says there's a 1 in a trillion chance of an image being incorrectly flagged.
That is ABC's Mona Kosarabdi. Illinois is reporting recreational marijuana dispensaries sold a record $128 million worth in July. The sales boosted by out-of-state visitors to Lollapalooza. Last week's festival was the first one since recreational marijuana was legalized in Illinois. This is ABC News.
Think about it. The pandemics reminded us that the nose is your body's filter against a constant invasion of airborne germs. But like any filter, the more it's clogged up, the less it works. Now it's easy to clean your nose with Navage. Navage uses powered suction to flush out germs that cause congestion, or worse, can make you very sick. People love Navage. It has 4.7 stars with over 70,000 online reviews. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and select Walmarts.
Aaron Katursky, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want their list.
Good morning and happy Friday. We're seeing a mostly clear to partly cloudy sky this morning and temperatures starting on the cooler side once again. This afternoon, we'll see the clouds increase. Could see a few showers late in the evening and overnight tonight. Our highs today in the mid to upper 80s. Showers are likely by Saturday morning. More showers and a few thunderstorms Saturday midday through the afternoon. Highs Saturday in the low to mid 80s once again. Few additional showers on Sunday, but mainly dry across most areas. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Well, it is another great getting up morning here in the foothills here at WCAB in beautiful downtown Whiteside Road. We're reading 61 on our thermometer this morning, getting up to 87 and mostly clear throughout the day. Some clouds hover above us. Wind about 5 miles per hour. Have a great day ahead of us, so I hope you're ready to enjoy the big day on this. Thank goodness it's finally Friday, Friends Day. Now I have these death announcements. Larry Kirk Wilkerson, age 52 of Forest City, passed away August 4th. A memorial service to celebrate Larry's life will be held at 11 o'clock Saturday morning, August the 7th, in the football stadium at East Rutherford High School, with Reverend Chris Fox, Reverend Sam Henderson, and Reverend Rodney Queen officiating. No formal visitation is planned. The family is concerned for the safety of those attending, and social distancing is encouraged. Seating will be in the home section of the stadium for those attending, and all are welcome. The Pageant and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements for Larry Wilkerson. Diane Tony Green, 63 of Forest City, passed away on Sunday, August 1st at Adrian Health in Shelby. Those arrangements incomplete and will be announced by Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home. Again, that's Diane Tony Green. Reverend John Thomas Godfrey, age 86 of Ellenboro, died Tuesday, August 3rd at Wendover Hospice House in Shelby. The family will receive friends from 6 until 8 o'clock today in the sanctuary of Race Path Baptist Church in Ellenboro. The funeral service will be at 2 o'clock on Saturday, August 7th at Race Path Baptist Church. Burial will be in the Race Path Baptist Church Cemetery. Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside is serving the family of Reverend John Godfrey. James William Couch, 80 of Rutherfordton, passed away on August 2nd at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. The family will hold a private graveside service for James William Couch. Ruby Lowry Wyatt of Beams Mill Road, Ellenboro, died Tuesday, August 3rd at Shelby Cleveland Hospital. The family will receive friends from 12 until 1 today at Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside. Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside is serving the family of Ruby Lowry Wyatt of Ellenboro. Family will hold a private service with burial at Rutherford County Memorial Cemetery. And that's a Harrelson Funeral Cremation Service entrusted with those arrangements for Ruby Lowry Wyatt. And Jerry Lamar Davis of Mooresboro passed away Wednesday at Fairhaven of Forest City, and the family will receive friends from 12 until 1 today at Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside for Jerry Lamar Davis. Mary Beth Spake, age 50 of Kaiser, passed away Wednesday, August 4th at Adrian Health Shelby. A memorial service to celebrate Beth's life will be conducted at 1 o'clock Sunday, August 5th at Coal Creek Baptist Church. The family will receive friends after the service at the church. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Mary Beth Spake. Cornelia Bostic Humphreys, age 74 of Boiling Springs, passed away Thursday at Testa Hospice House in Kings Mountain. The family will receive friends from 2 until 3 Sunday, August the 8th at Harrelson Funeral Home. A private graveside service will be conducted for the family. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Cornelia Bostic Humphreys. Those are the death announcements in-house this morning. Complete information on these and others as they become available to us can be heard this morning at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report here on WCAB Rutherfordton. Bill O'Reilly is next.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up from the NRIA.net studios in New York. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. For most folks, getting out of an unused timeshare is a top priority. With the bill always around the corner, it's like rolling the dice. Lone Star Transfer has helped thousands of people just like you and me for over a decade. They'll get you out of your timeshare quickly, legally, and ethically, guaranteed. For a free consultation, please go to LoneStarTransfer.com or call 855-551-7066. 855-551-7066. On this Friday, I am rooting for the American men's basketball team to win the gold tomorrow. I did not root for the U.S. women's soccer team, which did win the bronze. My problem is Megan Rapinoe, the star of the soccer crew, and the coach of the basketball team, Greg Popovich. Both individuals have defamed their own country by calling America racist across the board. They're entitled to their opinion, and I'm entitled to mine. They are wrong. Just because there is some racism in our society doesn't mean the entire country is evil. And by the way, racism is evil. If Rapinoe and Popovich really believe the USA is so bad, why are they representing it in the Olympics? Self-interest. That's why. Now, the men's team is not disrespecting the USA. I have not seen that. But Popovich is. So I'm going to put him aside, and because the players are my fellow citizens, I'm going to root for them. And I want them to win the gold tomorrow. Now this. Investors, Bill O'Reilly here. Are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer payouts of 10% annualized returns plus bonuses up to 21%. They are a 15-year industry leader who have seen it all. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Live from beautiful downtown Whiteside Road in the Blue Room of WCAB, your connection to the world of entertainment and information is on the air. WCAB, what a way to spend a day.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
The division is on the line every night as our Atlanta Braves fight for the National League East crown.
1-2, swung on, hit high and deep to center. This has got a chance. Back is Quinn. He leaps up. He didn't get it. Home run.
Tonight, the Braves are back at Truist Park in Atlanta for an enormous National League East battle with Ryan Zimmerman and the Washington Nationals. Braves Radio's on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
On August 10, 1883, the stage heading for Globe, Arizona was held up. From the start, it was a screw-up. The guard was needlessly killed and the driver shot. Cash in the strongbox was left behind, as well as a saddlebag and cartridge belt belonging to the bandits. Their trail was easy to follow as people saw the bandits riding at full gallop with pistols drawn toward a ranch belonging to an associate. A quick search of the place by the posse found enough evidence to arrest L.G. Redfield and Joe Tuttle. Another member of the gang was Jack Elmer. It was Jack's job to tell his associates which stage to rob. So Jack hung around the stage line office. When he saw it took two men to lift the strongbox, he knew it contained gold. Jack quickly bought a stage ticket. The plan was for Jack to sing loudly as the stage passed by a prearranged spot should it contain gold. The stage arrived at the prearranged spot and Jack sang out. But his associates didn't hear him. Later they realized Jack was on the stage and completed the task. Jack's associates were to have had a horse waiting for him at the next stage stop. When none was there, Jack made comments about his partners failing him and his need to get to Redfield's ranch before nightfall. With 2 gang members still on the loose, Redfield and Tuttle in jail, and rumors that Redfield would be released, the locals became concerned. So about 100 visited the jail and hanged them from the ceiling brace. About 4 weeks later, the remaining 2 fugitives were killed, thus cleaning up the gene pool just a bit. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
For a rootin' tootin' great meal, let Jesse James prepare your next lunch. He's got a menu chock full of fresh cooked burgers, fresh salads, hot dogs made any way you like, taco salads, specialty burgers, sandwiches, french fries, and onion rings. Enjoy refreshing milkshakes, Coke floats, or a cone of hand-dipped ice cream. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 4, closed Wednesdays and Sundays. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton. Call 447-4644. And don't forget the 99-cent hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions on Mondays only.
Coming up this morning, a little after 8 o'clock, about 8:05, Congresswoman Virginia Fox is going to be my guest. We'll talk about what's going on up in Washington and what they're doing about it. Right now, let's go to the phones. And the man who knows all about crime fighting in this area, Officer King, is on the phone with me right now from the Sheriff's Department to give us updated. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing today, Jim?
I'm doing really good. Loving this kind of weather we're having right now.
Yes, sir. Nice little cool spell.
Tell us what's been going on.
In the past 24 hours, Sheriff's Department responded to 192 calls for service. There were 15 arrests processed in the jail, and the jail currently has 198 people incarcerated. No incident reports this morning. Only thing I have is arrest reports. On those, we have a Travis McMurray from Tony Street in Shelby, served with 4 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $16,000 secured bond. Parker Smart from Googe Creek Church Road in Morrisboro was served with warrants for fleet of elude arrest with a motor vehicle, reckless driving, and exceeding the posted speed, received a $5,000 unsecured bond. Juan Cortez from Highway 221 South in Forest City was served with true bill indictments for 3 counts of obtaining property by false pretense and also charged with possession of stolen goods, received a $10,500 unsecured bond. Janine Stephans from Avery Drive in Forest City was served with 1 count of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $500 secured bond. Eric Stover from Illinois Street in Spindale was served with 1 count of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $2,000 secured bond. Kevin Lancaster from Corey Drive in Bostic was served with a warrant for simple assault and received a 48-hour hold on that. And that's all we have for today.
Officer King, thank you very much for that. I hope you have a good weekend and be safe out there.
Thank you, Jim. You have a good one.
Bye. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply is a variety store. Here's why I say that. Cedar shavings, 5.0 cubic feet, $7.99 per bag. They have Pontiac red potatoes, Kenny baked potatoes, $18 for 50 pound. River Run dog food, specially priced. Plenty of horse quality hay. Refill propane, $10.99 for a 20-pound tank. Wrangler Sweet Feed, $8.69 for the 50-pound bag. Cardinal Tissue and Paper Towels, 6-pack, $4.49. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply is the largest farm supply store, and you should come and see how much you can save. 188 Whiteside Road, Rutherfordton.
Jim, have you seen Henson Building Materials' newly remodeled showroom? It's gorgeous.
You mean where they have a full line of hardware and building materials for homeowners and home builders?
I mean where Jamie, Terry, and Tony, their friendly staff, treat me like family. Oh, they're so nice.
Hey, are they taking COVID precautions and have curbside service?
Of course. They're so thoughtful.
I do need some materials, but I don't think they'll fit in our car.
Oh, silly. They have professional delivery so we can get whatever I want.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street in Forest City.
Building starts here.
Here's Lindsay now with 911 Communications Center with our report on what kind of calls they received in the past 24 hours. Good morning, Lindsay. How are you?
Good morning. Doing good.
What's on your report today?
In the past 24 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 424 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 33 EMS, 29 rescue. Under law enforcement, 192 Sheriff's Office, 64 Florida City, 5 Lake Lure, 46 Rutherfordton, and 69 Spindale. Under fire calls, Cherry Mountain, Lake Lure had vehicle fires. Ellenboro and Rutherfordton had a motor vehicle accident. Florida City had an industrial fire alarm. Spindale had a brush fire as well as Union Mills. Sandy Mush had an illegal burn, and Union Mills also had a smoke and non-structure. And that is all.
Thanks, Lindsay. You have a good weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, we get to our next phone call in just a few moments. We here at WCAB are extremely happy today. Our Foothills Journals arrived yesterday by truck, and we have them in the house now ready to sort out and count out and get out to the mailing various post offices and get them into your homes as quickly as possible. 20,000 copies will be going out, and I know if you're as excited to get them as we are to get them out to you, then you'll look forward to it. Also, we're excited about being out on a live remote broadcast next Thursday, August 12th from 10 a.m. until 12 noon at the brand new location of the Appliance Center, 793 West Main Street in Forest City. Be free pizza, cold drinks, giveaways, super deals, lots of fun, and we hope to see you there. It's been a while since we've been able to be out and about in the community with you, so come on out and say hello to us. We have another live remote coming up we'll tell you about later on, but right now let's concentrate on next Thursday. Now here's Ruby Taylor with a report from Danieltown SDO. Good morning, Ruby.
Good morning.
What's on your report today?
Well, the fire department didn't have any calls, and on my birthday calendar today, I've got Joan Epley having birthdays, Mr. and Ms. Mike Kelly, and Mr. and Ms. Buck Quinn, and Mr. and Mrs. Allen Irvin is having anniversary. Hope all these people have a nice day. Tomorrow, Amber Jones has a birthday. Hope she has a nice day. And Sunday, Nancy Melton has a birthday, and Mr. and Ms. Steve Hill has an anniversary. Hope they have a nice day, and the signs are in the breast today, tomorrow, and going to the heart on Sunday. Jim, that's all I got.
Thanks very much, Ruby. Enjoy your weekend.
You too.
Goodbye.
Bye.
And next phone call going up to the Fairfield Mountains Fire District.
You say hello every time you pick up your phone, but what else do you say hello to? With Bark Mobile, you can say hello to summer, to adventure, to doing what you love, because you're also saying hello to freedom, flexibility, and great deals. Like getting a free Moto G stylus when you switch for a limited time, $100 savings when you bring the device you already love, or 2 lines unlimited data for just $35 a month per line with AutoPay. Say hello to something new. It's just a phone call away with Bark Mobile. Bark Mobile, mobile made easy. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details. Visit mybarkmobile.com/terms and conditions.
Well, it's a beautiful day weather-wise today. It's going to be warming up to about 87 and just a light wind, about 5 miles per hour. Right now we are at 61 degrees. Gary Wilson standing by up at Fairfield Mountains Fire District. Gary, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Glad it's finally Friday for him.
It is, and it's a cool, nice start to Friday. It's about 62 degrees up here this morning. Feels really good out there.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. No humidity out there this morning, but it'll be back by the weekend probably. The weather talking, it'll get warmer, but that's summertime. That's August, so we got to expect it.
Yep. Good to get these little breaks for the cool weather. These little breaks once in a while, then we can bear up under the heat and drop off a little cooling, and we can do that. If it stays hot all the time, it'd be unbearable.
It would. Little breaks help. They sure do. But we've been quiet overnight. No fire calls or anything. The rest of Bills Creek, and Bills Creek's having a yard sale Saturday at their annex building, their old station, from 7 to 3, and they'll have breakfast items and lunch items available also. So stop by and get you something to eat, find you a treasure somewhere out there, and take it home with you. And then next weekend, the Olympiad returns after a 1-year hiatus from the COVID, and it'll be coming back next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Lake Lure. So be a lot of things going on that weekend. Busy for everybody up here then, but so glad to see it come back. Like things look more like they're getting back to normal.
Good to know it's going to happen again.
Yep, sure is. And it should be safer. Everything's outside and everything, so everybody just be careful and enjoy yourself and have a good weekend. And that's about all we got up here this morning, Jim.
Gary, I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy your weekend this weekend, and I'll see you back here on Monday.
All right, talk to you then.
Thanks. Bye-bye. To win in sports, you must adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Why not let Andrew Tisdale, your Edward Jones financial advisor, help you create a game plan for financial success? Call 828-287-9197 and get started today. That's Andrew Tisdale at Edward Jones Financial Advisor, 828-287-9197. Hudlow Fire District is our next stop as we circle the county this morning. Bob Hodge is there to give us the news from the Fire District report today and things that happen around the community. And now here is Mr. Bob Hodge. Good morning, Bob.
Well, good Friday morning.
How you feeling today?
We're doing just fine. Made another week here. So.
Yeah, first week in August, and it's just about to go away.
Well, I tell you, it's moving right along there. Won't be long to, Labor Day weekend, will it?
That's right. Let me be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas, Bob.
Well, thank you. Same to you. And Happy New Year.
Yes. It's turn around real good 2 or 3 times. It'll be here, won't it?
That's right. Yeah. Well, Jim, we're doing just fine up here. Quiet this morning. Been quiet overnight with the fire department. Hadn't had any fire call. And things are going along good so far this morning. And for birthdays, let's see, Curtis Hodge birthday for Sunday. And that's about it, Jim. Things are going along good and quiet, and I hope we'll have a quiet weekend.
I hope so, too. I hope you and Imogene get a chance to enjoy it and enjoy yourself and be safe. And I'll check back in with you next time.
All right.
Thanks, Bob.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Honey, I got the new Premier Cash scratch-off.
Oh, what should I wear?
Sequins or satin?
We could win millions. Go with Sequatin.
Yeah, Sequatin.
The champagne is chilled.
Did you get doggy's tux?
Yeah.
Play like a millionaire. Premier Cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery with top prizes of $2 million. It's the most premier thrill around. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.08. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
I'm happy to share good news with you. If you have a septic tank on your property, you'll be glad to know there is a new professional pumper in town, Mid-South Pumping, owned and operated by one of our own, John Torvinen. Mid-South Pumping serves local communities such as Rutherford, Polk, Cleveland, McDowell, and Lake Lure, offering a wide variety of services at affordable prices. Get it done before summer gets here and really gets bad, if you know what I mean. Mid-South Pumping offers around-the-clock services to ensure your business doesn't become everyone else's. Count on Mid-South Pumping for pumping septic tanks, locating services, uncovering septic tank lids, and more. Make that call to Mid-South Pumping in Rutherfordton at 828-755-6280. Well, the Braves return home tonight for some games with Washington Nationals. They've been on the road. They're back home tonight playing in Atlanta. 6:05 airtime, 7:15 first pitch. And we'll join that pregame following News 13 at 6. Now let's check in over the Cherry Mountain Fire District, and that's where we'll find Sue Price on the phone today. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
How you doing, Sue?
I'm doing okay. Hope you are.
Yes, indeed.
Well, good. It's a nice morning over here this morning. Enjoyed this week. Dreading to see those 90 degrees come back next week.
Oh, I know.
But it's still summertime, so we'll have some more hot weather. Well, let's see what I have on my calendar this morning. Don't have anything on my church calendar for today. Let's see, this is the 5th.
Today's the 6th.
Today's the 6th, okay, yeah. And on my personal calendar today, I have Greg Randall, so I hope Greg's going to have a good day. And let's see if Harry has anything for today. I still don't have First Broad's calendar. They're kind of late getting it to me this time. First Broad, Fairview doesn't have anything on their calendar for today. not too many celebrating, but we hope anybody's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on this special day. And I have the one announcement, the benefit for Emily Bailey, and that's August the 14th, 12 to 4 p.m. at the Golden Valley Community Clubhouse. And there'll be a 50-50 raffle, silent auction, hot dog plates for sale, a bake sale. So I hope they'll have a good turnout for this. She's needing it for medical expenses. She's had a lot of surgeries. She has brain cancer, so right now she's at the hospital in Winston-Salem. So just keep her in your prayers, all you prayer warriors, and we're hoping it's going to turn out good for her.
Well, we hope and pray that will be the case.
Yeah. And so far, that's the only announcement I have, Jim. It's just quiet and calm over here, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one.
Enjoy your weekend too, Sue, and we'll check back in with you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. It's 7:30. You're listening to the Morning Report here on 100.9 FM, 590 AM. Most listened to newscast in the foothills is right here every morning, Monday through Saturday.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Well, it's a hop, skip, and a jump up to Shingle Hollow, and we'll do that right now and talk with Tina White. Find out what's going on up there, Tina.
Good morning from Shingle Hollow. It is Friday, and it is cool and a little breeze coming through. Very odd for August. There are birthdays today. There are no birthdays for today and none for tomorrow, but Linda actually is celebrating on Sunday and none on Pleasant Grove's calendar. And both fire departments, Shingle Hollow and Green Hill, were all quiet. We're thankful for that. Piney Knob Baptist Church invites everyone to come out on Sunday, August 22nd at 6 p.m. The John Lancaster family will be singing during the p.m. service. Everyone come out to hear him or the family. And that's all I have this morning.
Okay, nice and quiet up there. You're doing a good job keeping it quiet.
Oh, it has nothing to do with me.
Well, we appreciate you reporting from up there, keeping us posted on the fire districts and who's having a birthday and all the other activities. So you keep up the good work for us. I appreciate it.
Well, you're very welcome, and I will talk to you on Monday. Have a very blessed weekend.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
7:33, Tina White reporting out of Shingle Hollow Fire District. It's time now for this word and going to Union Mills after that.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
A lot of fine folks live up and around the Union Mills community of Rutherford County. A lot of nice folks, and Brenda Kelly is one of them, and she is on the phone with me right now to give us the news from there. Brenda, good morning.
Good morning, Jim Bishop. How are you on this fabulous Friday cool morning?
I'm glad it's finally Friday, friend.
I know you are. You're going to have a busy week next. Next week you do the live remote, don't you?
That's right, next Thursday, yeah.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to that.
I know it's been a long time coming.
It sure has. Yeah, we're looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
And we got another down the road. We'll tell you people more about that later on too. But it's coming up down the road a ways, and
that's good. Yeah.
We hope to have 2 or 3 more this year.
Well, good. Yeah. I always enjoyed going out to live remotes and just meeting people and seeing people I hadn't seen in a long time. And
yeah, it's fun. It really is.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Well, let's see. I've got 58 degrees on the front porch. I don't have any birthdays, any anniversaries, or nothing. And in ways of announcements, let's see, today's the 6th. Okay, that'll be tonight. Carly Airwood Band, 7 p.m. at the Union Mills Learning Center. Then Saturday, August the 7th, ASI Alumni Reunion starts at 10 a.m. Annual meeting at 3 p.m. And then Sunday, August the 8th, ASI luncheon available for cost of the meal. Reverend John Cope will lead service. All alumni events will be held at the Union Mills Learning Center. And let's see here. Then Nanny Clan Reunion, Sunday, August the 15th, 12:30 p.m. be held at Round Hill Baptist Church Fellowship Hall, 6585 Hudlow Road, Union Mills, NC, 28167. For information, please contact Diane Nanny at 828-429-2446. And then buffet breakfast at the Guilford School Community Center starts at 7 a.m. and goes to 10 a.m. This will be Saturday, August the 14th. Adults, $7. Kids, 6 to 12, $3. Kids 5 and under, free, and it's all you can eat. They have a lot of good food available, and money goes to help rebuild the old Guilford School. And so far, that's all the announcements I've got. So we got a little bit of stuff going on.
Things are beginning to move, yeah. A lot of nannies live around Union Mills, don't they?
Yeah. Louise Crow was a nanny.
Was she?
Yeah, she was. As a matter of fact, she had a house over here on Hudlow in Union Mills when she died. Yeah. There's a lot of nannies and Connors.
Yeah.
Well, and if you come up this little place where I live, you'll find a lot of Kellys.
A lot of Kellys, yeah. Is there? And there is a down around Caroline. There is a Kelly Road. Is it named after any of your husband's people?
No, my husband's people was from Old Fort.
Really? There's a Kelly Road down around Caroline, and there's a nanny town up in Union Mills.
Yeah. So that. You said, talking about that, Dennis Forney called me. What day was it you asked me how did Union Mills get its name?
Yeah, that was about Wednesday, I believe.
Okay. He called me, and he said that there used to be a lot of sawmills up here, and they had formed a union, and they decided to call it Union Mills because of the sawmills and the union. And he said, some Mr. Miller, I can't remember his name, Mr. Mills, told him that years ago. I don't know what Mills he said because it left me. I didn't write that down. But he said that's how Union Mills got its name.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, that makes a lot of these names like that come from businesses that formed or family members that started the business.
Yeah, and he said, do you know how Sandy Mush got its name?
Well, I've heard 2 or 3 tales on that one. I'm not sure which one's authentic. What did you hear?
He said that they were making liver mush, I think I'm right. And the wind kept blowing and sand kept getting in it, and so they decided to call it Sandy Mush. I don't know if that's right or not.
That's one of the ones I heard as well, yeah.
But it's interesting. It makes you laugh anyway.
Yeah, it is interesting. We'll have to do a program on that someday.
Yeah, and who was it you said, Robin Lattimore?
Robin Lattimore does that. Yeah, he knows. He knows all about that.
Okay, well, you're going to get him on there, and I'll be waiting to hear what he has to say. But so far, that's all I got going on here in Union Mills.
Well, you enjoy your weekend. It's nice to talk with you, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, catch you later.
All right, bye. Ellenboro is our next stop. That's where we'll find Mr. Luther Gilligan this morning, we hope.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there. At 7:40, let me remind you again that this morning, a little after 8 o'clock, Congresswoman Virginia Fox will be my guest as we talk with her about what's happening up in Washington. Right now, we're going to Ellenboro, and Luther Gilligan is on the phone with us right now. Mr. Gilligan, good morning.
Good morning. Nice day down here today.
Listen,
coming up.
Is Gilligan, is that a German name? Where's Gilligan come from?
They tell me it's Irish.
Irish, yeah. That makes sense, yeah.
But I went back to where I came from with the Genealogical Society.
Yeah.
And they have no idea. They trace it back about 5 generations, and then it stops.
Well,
they
maybe.
Said it must,
Go ahead.
They said it must have been either somebody jumped ship or his pirates won.
Well, maybe you don't want to go back too far. Maybe you might want to change your name.
Well, I don't know. There's probably a lot of unshady characters in the past.
Well, I'm glad you changed that record and brought forth a positive, good character.
Yeah, I was a black sheep of the generation. I didn't work out like the rest of them. I was a good boy.
What's going on in Ellenboro?
Not a whole lot happening there. It's where everybody's just trying to get Friday over and look for the weekend. Fire department, they were quiet for the most part. They had one accident yesterday on 74, just a little bump up, wasn't anything to it. Other than that, things are quiet down here this morning, just nothing happening. We just get Friday over and look for the weekend. So you have a great day up there. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you Monday.
Hope you enjoy yours, and I will see you then. Have a good one.
All right, take care now.
Bye-bye. Well, we know that there are hundreds of people moving into our area that's leaving other states. They were leaving New York. They're leaving California. They're leaving other states, coming here, buying land here in Rutherford County because they like what we have here. And we want to make them feel welcome, of course. And as folks come into this area, many of them are discovering what we do here on the radio in the mornings. And they love the call-around report. They love to hear the dialogue between the different sections of the county. So if you meet some folks from outside the area, different states that might be looking to live here, make them feel welcome. But we just want them to understand we welcome them, but we don't want them changing our area from what they came from. So let's make them feel welcome and enjoy themselves here in Rutherford County. And folks are coming by leaps and bounds. So that reminds me to remind businesses, small businesses, and well as large business, that your message needs to be right here on this local radio station, because folks turn to local radio to find out more about the community. Birthday time and anniversary time now for this 6th day of August, August 6th. Call your birthday and anniversary into us. Todd's standing by to take that call, and the phone lines are clear. Birthdays and anniversaries coming up next. Imagine being surrounded by comfort. At Immaculate Heating and Air Conditioning, they offer ultimate home comfort by Coleman. They will install a Coleman high-efficiency heating and cooling system and handle any service and maintenance, all for one low monthly payment with zero out-of-pocket costs for 10 years. That's right, 10 years with no service or repair fees, no maintenance fees, no unexpected cost at all. Ultimate home comfort. It's more comfort all around. Contact Nathan Blackburn at 828-755-5788. That's 755-5788, or visit ImmaculateHeatingandAir.com.
It's our 30th anniversary, but you get the gifts. That's right, Carolina West Wireless is celebrating our anniversary and celebrating you in a big way with incredible savings, like $350 off a new iPhone 12 or a $150 credit when you bring in your own device. And as our special gift to you, get an additional $30 off any other device promo in our store. Stop by today and let's celebrate our 30th anniversary together. Carolina West Wireless, celebrating 30, celebrating you. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Come take advantage of the springtime sales event and get the automobile you've been wanting. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Let me remind you of this also, that Forest City is welcoming, Forest City, Rutherford County actually is welcoming Cycle NC Mountain Ride today. They'll be coming through, and some of them will be stopping off at Washburn Store today, and between 8:30 and 2:30. So they're reminding you that there'll be lots of activity over there. So expecting a lot of out-of-towners. So if you want to see them and talk with them, just be safe around the store on Saturday. Tomorrow they'll be there, and come see it. Meanwhile, it is the weekend, and Granny B will have plenty of pizza for you if you want to order your pizza. Choose from 13 different combinations, and you can order your pizza by calling 286-9012, and they'll have it ready for you, 286-9012, 286-9012, and order yourself a pizza. If you don't like the combination, 13 different combinations, order your own pizza. You can sort of select what you want on your pizza. They'll fix that for you. Granny B's loving the way they're doing their pizza, and folks are loving doing business with them. They're right there on West Main Street in Spindale.
Happy birthday.
Birthday. Happy birthday wishes going out to Mary Ellen Green. Mary Ellen Green having a birthday. Ryan and Courtney Owens celebrating an anniversary today. And Joel Lynch also having a birthday. So happy birthday, happy anniversary to these fine folks. And thank you for letting us share in your birthday celebration. Coming up in just a moment, Keys to Confident Living. And then we'll take you down memory lane for a couple of classic oldies. 8:05 this morning, Virginia Fox will be chatting with us. And we have the Sheriff's Report again with Officer King. All that's happening the next little while right here. So don't change that dial.
Caring for a handicapped child can be very demanding and yet very rewarding. There are not usually easy answers as to why a particular child was born with a specific problem, but it seems that God richly rewards those who accept such a challenge with grace and devotion. Edna Masnamilla has written the following poem of what it might be like in heaven before such a child is born. It goes like this. A meeting was held quite far from earth. It's time again for another birth. Said the angels to the Lord above, this special child will need much love. He may not run or laugh or play. His thoughts may seem quite far away. In many ways he won't adapt, and he'll be known as handicapped. So let's be careful where he's sent. We want his life to be content. Please, Lord, Find the parents who will do a special job for you. They will not realize right away the leading role they're asked to play. But with this child sent from above comes stronger faith and richer love. And soon they'll know the privilege given in caring for their gift from heaven. Their precious charge, so meek and mild, is heaven's very special child. We want to remember you parents today who have been given a very special child to care for. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living. Scripts for these programs are sold in book form by calling toll-free 1-888-333-KEYS.
Live from beautiful downtown Whiteside Road in the Blue Room of WCAB.
From ABC News, I'm Aaron Katersky.
Come on now! Let's get vaccinated! Protect your family!
The mayor of Camden, New Jersey, where COVID-19 cases have doubled in the past week, tried to convince.
Let's fight this virus!
At the White House, they're planning for how to insist. The Biden administration is now considering whether to withhold federal funds from certain institutions like nursing homes and universities until they require their employees to be vaccinated. The U.S. military is expected today to recommend the president require vaccination for active duty troops.
This is a shift from the Pentagon. They previously indicated that they would wait for FDA approval, but now Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin expected to move forward with this, making the recommendation to the president that would require all of the 1.3 million active duty service members to be vaccinated. This will require the sign off from the president. It would require a special waiver that would need to be signed.
ABC's Rachel Scott. United Airlines announced within the last few minutes all U.S.-based employees must be vaccinated by the fall. Apple is going to start scanning iPhones for images of child sexual abuse. If one is found, Apple would report the user to police. This has raised privacy concerns about what else Apple could monitor. Half hour from now, we'll get a fresh look at the U.S. job market.
Expectations for this report are all over the map, from the highs of 1.2 million jobs created in the month of July to the lows, 350,000 jobs created. The goal among economists is at least 850,000 jobs were created in July. That would be in line with what we saw in the month of June.
ABC's Rebecca Jarvis. The International Olympic Committee has removed 2 coaches from Belarus after they were accused of trying to force the sprinter Kristina Timanovskaya to return to Belarus. She went to Poland instead. Team USA's April Ross and Alex Kleinman won gold in beach volleyball. You're listening to ABC News.
Can you name the 3 habits of healthy hygiene? We shower, we brush our teeth, and we... Wait a minute. What third habit? Think about it. The pandemics reminded us that the nose is your body's filter against a constant invasion of airborne germs. Your nose traps allergens, bacteria, and viruses, but like any filter, the more it's clogged up, the less it works. Now it's easy to clean your nose with Navage. My name's Martin Hoke, and I did not invent nasal irrigation. It's been around thousands of years, but I did invent Navage to make nasal irrigation an easy habit for everyone. Navage uses powered suction to flush out germs that cause congestion, or worse, can make you very sick. People love Navage. It has 4.7 stars with over 70,000 online reviews. And over 2 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and select Walmarts. Make cleaning your nose your third habit. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
A 6th straight day of flight cancellations for Spirit Airlines. CEO Ted Christie told us Spirit expects to cancel about half their flights today, and passengers should anticipate cancellations into next week.
The real work will be digesting what we just had happen to us, building takeaways, and then making sure that we try to avoid these types of things in the future.
The cancellations are blamed on a combination of bad weather, staffing shortages, technology problems. Thousands of more people are being evacuated in Greece. Wildfires are burning across the country.
Thousands of residents roused from their beds overnight to evacuate as one of Greece's most severe wildfires spread just north of Athens. Strong winds and record heat fueling the flames. Officials revealing several firefighters and volunteers were hospitalized with burns. Resources here are spread thin. The European Union now sending in help with fire crews, water-dropping planes, helicopters, and vehicles from France, Romania, Sweden, and Switzerland arriving Friday and through the weekend. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, Athens.
Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic has reopened ticket sales to the edge of space. This follows the billionaire's successful journey there last month. The cheapest ticket, $450,000. One more Olympics note for you. Team USA's women's basketball team routed Serbia to reach its 7th consecutive gold medal game. It's ABC News.
Hey, some big news. Eric Bowling is back on Newsmax every weekday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Watch Eric Bowling on The Balance, fighting against big media, woke politics, and cancel culture. This week, Eric is exposing Joe Biden's inflation and how it can kill your money and retirement. Find Newsmax on all major cable systems, Roku, Zumo, Pluto, Samsung, and more. Or download the free Newsmax app on your phone. Watch Eric Bowling today on Newsmax, because it's real news for real people.
Aaron Katersky,
Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. Today, we'll see a partly cloudy sky this afternoon with highs in the low to mid-80s, staying dry most of the day, but could see a few showers popping up later this afternoon and through the evening. Those showers will continue overnight tonight. For Saturday, we'll see scattered showers and a few thunderstorms. Highs Saturday in the low to mid-80s. More rain will be with us Saturday evening, tapering off Saturday night, looking slightly drier, though, on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Sunny skies and 65 degrees currently here at 8:05 at WCAB. 8:05, beautiful downtown Whiteside Road, and 65 degrees. We're waiting a call right now from Congresswoman Virginia Fox, and we'll have her on in just a moment.
Honey, I got the new Premier Cash Scratch-Off.
Oh, what should I wear? Sequins or satin?
We could win millions. Go with Sequatin.
Yeah, Sequatin.
The champagne is chilled.
Did you get Doggy's Tux?
Yeah.
Play like a millionaire. Premier Cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery with top prizes of $2 million. It's the most premier thrill around. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.08. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continue to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
You know, there is a lot of misleading information about Medicaid eligibility. The Arledge Law Firm would like for you to know the truth. For instance, if you need a nursing home, Medicaid will take your home. That's not true. Another one is, if you transfer assets, you have to wait 60 months to qualify. Again, not true. And this big one, if you're already in a nursing home, it's too late to protect your assets. Not true, not true, not true. Call attorneys Gerald N. Willis, Kent Baldwin, or Martin Gerard at the Arledge Law Firm and get free consultation and learn the truth. It's more likely than you think that you may qualify for nursing home care and not lose everything you own. It's worth a call to Arledge Law Firm at 287-3338, located on East Court Street in Rutherfordton. It's 8:07 here at WCAB 100.9 FM, 590 AM. As promised, Congresswoman Virginia Fox is on the radio with me right now. Virginia Fox has been on many national interviews, national TV and radio, but I know the highlight of her career is to be right here on WCAB. Good morning, Virginia Fox. How are you doing?
You are absolutely right about that. I love being on with you. Especially on a beautiful morning like this. Isn't it a gorgeous morning?
It's a beautiful Carolina morning. I love it.
It is. Western North Carolina morning.
Exactly,
you know,
exactly.
I wake up every morning and I try to remember the first thing to do is thank you, Lord, for letting me live where I live. And this morning I definitely did. I got up, I looked outside, and I said, oh, Lord, how blessed I am by you.
Oh, absolutely. We forget that sometimes, don't we? But I'm glad to know that you're one of these people that think about that every morning because it is important.
Absolutely. It is. Honestly, we live in the best place in the world, and I hope people will cherish it. Unfortunately, I think sometimes it's like they say, you never know what you got till you lose it. And I worry a little bit about that, but and we got a lot of people moving into the area, and I pray that they will want to adopt our values and not want to bring negative values with them.
You know, it's odd you brought that up because I mentioned that earlier this morning on my earlier show that we want to welcome those folks who are moving into our area, particularly here in Rutherford County. A lot of folks are moving in. We welcome them, and we want them to adapt to us, but not bring all those negative things they were leaving, not try to bring those here to us.
Right. No, it's very important. I mean, they're attracted to our area for a good reason, but we want them to help keep it that way.
I have a lot of questions.
I was in Ash and Allegheny yesterday and hearing the same sentiment.
Yeah. I have a lot of questions I want to ask you in a short period of time, but one of the things a lot of my listeners wanted me to ask you is, do you think that the president is going to go to a national shutdown again with this uprise of the pandemic, as they call it?
Well, you know, let me make a little correction in what you're asking about.
Okay.
President Trump never shut down the country. That's only done by the governors. So it really wasn't a national shutdown. It was a state-by-state shutdown.
Right.
And every state made its own decisions. So I don't know. Of course, this president is prone to do things from Washington and take authority he has no business taking. Like this week, he did something in total defiance of the Supreme Court by signing an executive order to extend the moratorium on rent payments. The Supreme Court told him, don't do that anymore. You can't do it. It's unconstitutional. Only Congress can pass laws. But they're talking about doing all kinds of things, Jim, that they have no authority to do. And, of course, then somebody has to sue, and it has to work its way through the courts because that's the way our system works. And, frankly, we have a good system, except when you get somebody in like President Biden who becomes a tyrant. Mm-hmm. You know, President Trump was accused of being a tyrant. He never did any of the things, none of the things that President Biden is doing. And yet the media does not call President Biden out for that. I don't know if he's going to have a shutdown. I'm very concerned about this vaccination push. I've taken the vaccines, but it's an individual choice. Our government is taking away our rights little by little by little. Now, I think, again, we've accepted the smallpox vaccine, the polio vaccine. Jim, I grew up under the polio scare. You're not that old, but, you know, I grew up when we were facing polio, and we gladly took that vaccine when it came along. But people have changed their minds now because we know, well, no vaccine is perfect. Let me say that. No vaccine is perfect. We all have individual bodies. God made us individually, and bad things can happen. Science is not perfect. But I think each one of us, we're founded on freedom. This country's founded on freedom. And as long as we don't impinge on other people's freedoms, then we are free to make lots of choices. And I'm worried about the trend in the country overall, Jim. Just very, very concerned.
Which brings to the question, you're Speaker of the House. How can she get away with demanding everybody on the House side wear masks, and if you don't, you'll be arrested and fined?
Well, that's because we make our own rules. The Constitution says that. So we are living under the Constitution, and the Speaker, the rule to do that is in our rules. Now, the Democrats have a majority of 3. At the time that was passed, they probably had a majority of 6. But they passed that rule. We voted against it. But we live in a culture where we say the majority rules. And that's the situation we're in right now. We're in a bit of a bind. That's why I say all the time elections have consequences. You know, there were just a few thousand votes that kept the Democrats in the majority and prevented us from being in the majority. And while many of us sounded the alarm all last year that this is the kind of thing that would happen if we allowed the Democrats to stay in majority in the House and gain majority in the Senate. Now, they didn't gain a majority, but it's 50-50. And the vice president's Democrat, so that gives them the majority. So the reason the speaker is all powerful. If it were a Republican speaker, the speaker would be all powerful because the majority party elects the speaker, and that majority party can pass the rules. I mean, we're living by the Constitution in that regard. Nancy Pelosi is the most hated woman and most hated person in the United States. There is no question about it. But we're sort of boxed in as Republicans. We want to be good role models. So, you know, it's like the speed limit. We should obey the speed limit. We obey the laws. So the law for the House of Representatives is that you wear a mask when you're on the floor. We don't like it. We think it's wrong. The Senate doesn't wear a mask. But again, the Senate makes its own rules.
Yeah. Let me ask you about something else that's been in the news lately. There's seemed a lot of controversy up there, and this bipartisan infrastructure bill. It seemed like a whole lot of stuff for unnecessary for this infrastructure package. What do you think?
Well, I have not read the bill because it's not done yet. They are debating it in the Senate, and they're offering amendments. I haven't heard much about what's going on with amendments since early in the week because I've been really, really busy this week. But I heard earlier in the week they'd only voted on 3 amendments, and even the report I heard didn't say whether they passed or not, but that Mitch McConnell is slow-walking the bill. Because they want to delay it as much as possible, and they hope that people are just going to leave, and then the thing will fall apart. I haven't checked, frankly, where the status of the bill right now, but the word is that if this passes, then there won't be anything else. That if this passes the Senate, it will give a win, particularly to Kristen Sinema, and that they will not agree to taking down the filibuster or to passing the $3.5 trillion bill. So there's a big battle going on between Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer wants to pass this, then have the House pass the $3.5 trillion bill and send it to the Senate. And, of course, Nancy Pelosi has said she won't do this first bill till the second bill passes. So while there's a lot of focus on what Republicans are doing or not doing, people need to be focused on what the Democrats are doing or not doing, because that's where, in some ways, the real action is. What they decide to do is going to be extremely important.
Well, I want to commend you on your defense and protection of religious freedoms. I know you're one of the fighters for that cause, and I want to commend you for that.
Well, I am, and I will tell you, I spoke to a group last night, and I told them, I said, you don't realize how much is going on out of the committee I'm on, the Education and Labor Committee, how much is going on there to take away our religious freedom. And as I said to the group, they want to abandon the Constitution. They truly, the Democrats do, want to abandon the Constitution. Our first freedom is religious freedom. That was no accident, Jim. The fact that the Constitution was written the way it was is no accident. The founders came to this country for religious freedom, and it was their intention that that always be the first freedom that we protect. The Democrats want to take away all protections from religious organizations. And I offered an amendment to the fiscal year 2022 Labor, Health, and Human Services appropriations bill, and it preserves the Department of Labor rule affirming the equal rights of religious organizations to contract with the federal government. What they want to do is say, if you take away a religious organization's right to choose the people who work for it, and we can't have that. We cannot allow that to happen, and so I'm fighting it. Now, my amendment failed, and the bill passed, but we've just got to keep fighting. We have to bring it up over and over and over again. So I will never stop. And interestingly, again, it's our committee that has had the biggest action on this subject.
Well, you know what? Watching the news, and I know watching news can turn us into negative zombies sometimes. But
yes,
it seems like the more and more I see the president out in public, the more and more I realize that he doesn't need to be there.
Well, I got big applause at the group last night when I said, he absolutely does not seem to be in charge, and I'm not sure that he really understands what's going on. People can be extremely vigorous at 70, 80, 90, even 100, and very cognizantly aware.
Yes.
I don't believe that's the case with the president. Unfortunately, it's not the case with the president. And again, you and I know people, again, in their 90s. I know 100-year-old people who are sharp as tacks.
Yes.
But not everybody's like that. And the president obviously has a difficult time walking. Let me tell you, I don't care. I think he's a year or two younger than I am, and you ought to come follow me around the Capitol sometime and see me. I mean, I am vigorous. I stretch every morning, and some days I'm on my feet for 16 hours.
Right.
And I'm still moving pretty fast at the end of the day. He cannot, and he obviously has a difficult time stringing two sentences together when he doesn't have a teleprompter. And even when he has a teleprompter,
he still stumbles and falls of it. I had a story yesterday. Speaking of age, I had a story yesterday. I think it might have been in Massachusetts town. 90-year-old man still as a cop in the community. He'd retired several times. He couldn't handle it, so he came back, and he's an active, everyday cop working 8, 10, 12 hours a day. 90 years old. So we do what we...
You know, the Lord blesses some of us with good genes and some with not so good genes.
Right.
I extol the virtues of stretching. I'll tell you that. I learned about 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago now. I was having a little some pain in my legs, and I went to a physical therapist, and they told me about stretches. 20 minutes in the morning. Now, I should be doing more, but 20 minutes in the morning keeps me going all day long. I'm just blessed. But you have to take care of yourself, you know.
Congresswoman Virginia Foxx, my guest this morning. I'm always happy to talk with you, and I always appreciate the fact you visit our area occasionally. She's a congressperson from the 5th District, of which part of Rutherford County is involved. And I look forward to these conversations. I look forward to seeing you again real soon.
Well, I look forward to seeing you too, Jim. I know I'm going to be over there in September, and I'm looking forward to that. We're just staying very, very busy in the district right now. I'm trying to get around to all the different counties that I have, and I'm going to be there. I love coming to Rutherford County. You know, my husband, I've mentioned this before, was a planner in Forest City, and he absolutely loved those days.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the different towns in Forest City, and in Rutherford County, and I'm looking forward to being back.
God bless you, and keep up the good fight.
I will do that. Take care.
See you now.
Too.
Bye.
Keep people informed, Jim, okay?
I will do that.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Virginia Foxx, Congresswoman from the 5th Congressional District, our guest this morning. 23 minutes past 8, and we'll have that Sheriff's Report with Officer King coming up in just a moment.
For a delicious meal every day, call on Gregory's Original. Choose from their top menu of burgers, subs, grinders, pasta dishes, fresh salads, and so much more. All dishes are prepared fresh daily. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., Saturday, noon until 9 p.m. Now at Gregory's, try the family-style meals. The dining room is now open, but curbside and takeout is still available. Enjoy lunch or dinner today with your favorite meal from Gregory's. Call 287-2171, located in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherford's Gregory's Original.
Hello, this is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. Are you on disability? Or maybe you're on Medicare? Or maybe both? Come see me, Dwayne Hunt, at Insurance Service Associates about a Medicare Advantage product brought to you by Humana. Please give me a call, 245-5301, at Insurance Service Associates, 127 East Trade Street, Forest City.
Officer King now with the Sheriff's Report.
In the past 24 hours, Sheriff's Department responded to 192 calls for service. There were 15 arrests processed in the jail, and the jail currently has 198 people incarcerated. No incident reports this morning. Only thing I have is arrest reports. On those, we have a Travis McMurray from Tony Street in Shelby, served with 4 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $16,000 secured bond. Parker Smart from Googe Creek Church Road in Morrisboro was served with warrants for fleet of elude arrest with a motor vehicle, reckless driving and exceeding the posted speed, received a $5,000 unsecured bond. Juan Cortez from Highway 221 South in Forest City was served with true bill indictments for 3 counts of obtaining property by false pretense and also charged with possession of stolen goods. Received a $10,500 unsecured bond. Janine Stephans from Avery Drive in Forest City was served with 1 count of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $500 secured bond. Eric Stover from Illinois Street in Spindale was served with 1 count of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $2,000 secured bond. Kevin Lancaster from Corey Drive in Bostic was served with a warrant for simple assault and received a 48-hour hold on that. And that's all we have for today.
To 3 games because of the 17-game expansion of the regular season, but the Cowboys and Steelers are still playing 4 exhibition games. That 4th game they played last night, which was technically their first, the annual Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio to kick off the preseason. The Steelers beat the Cowboys 16-3. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin says it was an honor to be there to play their 4th game, which was their first.
Particularly just all that was going on this weekend here in Canton. The great Steelers being enshrined in the Hall of Fame, it was an honor for us to play and to entertain them, and so I just wanted to start with that. We're thankful to win. I think anytime we step into a stadium, man, that's the objective. But just in general, I like the enthusiasm and the energy in which the guys play with. I just think that's important.
In baseball, the Phillies pulled within a half game of the NL East leading Mets after they beat Washington 7-6. The Mets, meanwhile, they dropped a third game in their last 4, losing to Miami in Miami 4-2. San Francisco beat Arizona 5-4 to continue leading the NL West by 4 games over the Dodgers. And the Tigers' 8-1 rout of the Red Sox extend the Boston losing streak to 6 games out of their last 7. This is NCN Sports.
It's upsetting to see our country's aging water systems, electric grid, pipelines, roads, and bridges all breaking down. Our energy and telecom networks under attack from foreign enemies. It's time to protect what makes America great by investing in our infrastructure. It's time to invest in us. Upgrading and repairing our infrastructure is good common sense. It's saying so long to potholes and blackouts, and hello to cleaner air and water, and lower prices, greater economic freedom, stronger national security, and a healthier environment. That's good for our families, good for America, and good for our future. Contact Senators Richard Burr and Tom Tillis. Urge them to vote for the Senate infrastructure plan that focuses on rebuilding America and invests in North Carolina. Tell Senators Burr and Tillis it's time to invest in us. Learn more at let'sinvestinus.com. Paid for by Citizens for Responsible Energy Solutions.
North Carolina lawmakers are working on a bill to legalize sports betting in the state. Supporters of the legislation, which got its first approval from a Senate committee this week, say people already gamble on sports, and the legalization would generate revenue for things like education. Senator Jim Perry from Lenoir County is one of the lead sponsors.
We've seen various projections like we always do. They range from very conservative to, I think, very optimistic.
Those against the measure argue that gambling expansion would lead to more gambling addiction. John Rustin is president and executive director of the North Carolina Family Policy Council and the Christian Action League of North Carolina.
Gambling and not the games themselves will become the centerpiece of sports competition in North Carolina.
As it stands, the bill would allow for bets to be placed on professional, collegiate, amateur, and electronic sports. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. Today, we'll see a partly cloudy sky this afternoon with highs in the low to mid-80s, staying dry most of the day, but could see a few showers popping up later this afternoon and through the evening. Those showers will continue overnight tonight. For Saturday, we'll see scattered showers and a few thunderstorms. Highs Saturday in the low to mid-80s. More rain will be with us Saturday evening, tapering off Saturday night, looking slightly drier, though, on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
We're currently 66 degrees here at WCAB Studios in beautiful downtown Whiteside Road. Thanks for being with me this week by the morning wake-up call, folks. Stay with us throughout the weekend. Lots of entertainment, lots of information, and a lot of fun right here on this radio station. It's 8:30 and time now for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program. And with the program this morning is John and Esther Wright.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining us. This is John and Esther Wright with Word of Faith Fellowship, and we just wanted to take this time to share with you a little bit of what God's been doing in our lives. I want to start when before we first got married, we were engaged, and in Proverbs chapter 22 and 23, it talks about not removing the landmark, and one of the landmarks that God put in our lives was to trust Him, and that we weren't going to trust money, we weren't going to trust things, we weren't going to put our trust in people, that we were going to trust God with our lives. And in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5, it says, "Let your character and your moral disposition be free from love of money, including greed, avarice, lust, and craving for earthly possessions, and be satisfied with your present circumstances and with what you have. For God Himself has said, I will not in any way fail you, or give you up, or leave you without support. I will not in any degree leave you helpless, or forsake, or let you down, or relax my hold on you." And like I said, we were engaged. We were preparing for a wedding. We needed finances. Esther was just finishing up nursing school, and neither one of us really had any money, and it was kind of bothering her at first. What are we going to do? She couldn't find a job, and one thing about nursing students when they graduate, a lot of times before they're hired, people want experience. Well, you can't get experience without getting a job. So we prayed. I remember where we were sitting. We prayed. We were talking about this, and God put it in my heart that no matter what happened, that we were going to trust God, that we were going to be known that we trusted God and that God took care of us. Mm-hmm. And so we prayed, and we cried out to God, and we said, God, this is where we're at. We need help. We don't need money. We need you. We want you to be first in our life. And within a week, Esther had 2 jobs, and God has been taking care of us before and ever since. Mm-hmm. And in Psalms, there's the Bible's full of encouraging words about trusting God and what God will do for you when you turn your heart to Him, when you cry out to Him, and when you seek Him with all of your heart. That God will take care of you, and it's amazing, just what God has to say, and all through the Bible really. But Psalms is one of my favorite books when it comes to trusting God, because it's just full of examples. And in Psalms chapter 5, in verse 11, it says, "But let all those who take refuge and put their trust in you rejoice. Let them ever sing and shout for joy." And that's one thing, when you trust God and you really, and your heart is really after God, God puts the joy in your heart, because you there's a stability and you're sure, because you know that God's going to take care of you, and you can rejoice. You can be happy. You don't have to be worried and concerned and just fretful, because you know God's going to be there for you. It says, "Let them ever sing and shout for joy, because you make a covering over them and you defend them. And let those who love your name be joyful in you and be in high spirits." And that's one of the works that God's been doing in our hearts, is that we can trust Him and that we can be happy and that we can enjoy life, because we know God's going to be there no matter what happens. God's going to be there to take care of us. And in the 10 years that we've been married, we've been through lots of different tests and trials. But the one thing that we've learned is that when we turn our heart to God, no matter what's going on, whether it's financial, whether it's physical, spiritual, if we just don't know what to do in a situation, that when we turn our heart to God, He's always there. He always hears our cry, and He takes care of us. And then Psalms 9, there's another example there. It's an excellent example. It talks about, so in chapter 9, verse 10, it says, "And they who know your name, who have experience and acquaintance with your mercy," and then that's what I can say about us for sure, is that we've definitely, through the things that we've walked through, had experience, and we've seen God's mercy in our lives, and we're so grateful for that. It says, "They will lean on and confidently put their trust in you. For you, Lord, have not forsaken those who seek, inquire of, and for you on the authority of God's word and on the right of their necessity." And that's one of the biggest things, is when you have the word of the Lord in your heart, when you know what God has said to you and the promise that God's made to you, if you trust Him, then that's really where your stability and your faith can be, and your trust is, because you know God said, and it's going to happen no matter what. And I think Esther had something on that note about having the word of the Lord.
Yeah, I want to give an example of, like you just read in Psalms chapter 9, when I was younger, I didn't really know what God wanted me to do or where I was supposed to go, but He really wanted me to move away from where I was. So He spoke to me that I was supposed to move over here to Western North Carolina. And whenever I did that and I said yes to God, He provided a job for me. He provided a place for me to stay. I got a new car. I mean, it's amazing what you do when you say yes to God. When he gives you that word of the Lord and he says, do this, and you obey, then it's amazing what God gives to you and blesses you. So with one of the very first scriptures that he gave to me whenever I moved here and had lots of, God, is this where I'm supposed to go? Is this what I'm supposed to do? But you always have that word of God to stand on. He gave me the verse in Isaiah chapter 30, verse 18. It says, and therefore the Lord waits and he looks and he's longing to be gracious to you. And therefore he lifts himself up that he may have mercy on you and show loving kindness. And that's what God did. He showed loving kindness to me. He showed me what he could do for me whenever I submit my heart to him and listen to his voice and inquire of him. For it says, his favor and his love and his peace and his joy and his matchless unbroken companionship. And, I expected God to do something for me. When he told me to move here, I expected him that he would move on my behalf. And I have seen that he's given me peace and joy and provided everything I needed here. I mean, I came from a very poor family and we did not have a whole lot, but whenever I moved here, God's provided everything for me.
Absolutely, absolutely. This, like I said, Psalms is just full of examples. I just want to read a couple more out of Psalms, and then I'll move on from there. In Psalms 37, chapter 37, verse 3, it says, trust in the Lord and do good, and so shall you dwell in the land and feed surely on his faithfulness, and truly you shall be fed. And that's what Esther was just talking about, the thing that we've been learning about trusting God. And it says, do good. Don't be worried and anxious and concerned about how everything's going to work out. It says, just hear God's voice, obey, do good, and you'll be taken care of. God will take care of everything that you need. It says, delight yourself also in the Lord, and he will give you the desires and the secret petitions of your heart. And that's something that we've certainly found out, that even things that we may not have spoken out or said, but God put in our heart. And like she was talking about the word of the Lord, that God, when God speaks it to you, it's there. And if you believe God, that God's going to do it, that if you put your trust in him and you delight yourself in God and you do every day what he's telling you to do, just obey his voice, God takes care of the rest. He gives you everything you need. And it says, commit your way to the Lord, roll and repose or rest each care of your load on him. Trust also in him, and he will bring it to pass. And that's really the thing she was talking about. As young people, a lot of times we're trying to figure out what we're going to do. You graduate, now what? Do you go to college? Do you get a job? How's this going to work out? Do you get married? How are you going to have everything that you need? But that this is one of the things that God has spoken to us, that you just trust God, commit yourself on him, just obey what he tells you to do every day, and God will take care of it. When God's put something in your heart, you don't have to worry about how it's going to happen or what's going to happen. Just do whatever God's telling you to do, and everything it'll come to pass.
And then God's taught me that you should wait. Don't go out there and try to get it done yourself. God tells you something and he puts a word in your heart. You're going to do it. You want this to happen. You had to wait. I mean, God put it in my heart to move over here, but it took a little time for everything to fall into place. And, don't get ahead of God. Don't try to strive in your own way to get to God. There's times you have to wait and be patient, and he will bring it to pass. Let God take care of it for you.
Absolutely. And then in Proverbs 14, like she was just talking about, it talks about there's a way that seems right to man, but the end thereof leads to death. And that's one thing that we've been crying out for, is we don't want to go that way. We don't want to do what seems right to us. We don't want to try to make a way for ourselves or try to figure out how we can make things happen. Because it ends in death. One way or the other, it always ends in death. And we want to make sure that whatever is going on, whatever we need, whatever is happening, that we want to turn our hearts to God. Even if things are going good, if there's seems to be no problems, everything's taken care of, that we want to make sure that our heart is toward God and that he will lead us in the path that we need to go. And like she was just talking about being patient and waiting, in Psalms chapter 40, starting in verse 1, it says, I waited patiently and expectantly for the Lord, and he inclined to me and heard my cry. And that's one of the biggest things too, is crying out to God, because we don't know. We don't know what to do. We don't know how to deal with situations. We don't know how to provide sometimes for the things that we need. And so that's where we've been is crying out to God. God, we need help, and it's not just when you're in a bad situation. It's just that's what God, when he created us in the beginning, and he created man after himself, the highest form of existence in the universe. He had spent the time creating everything before, and then he said, let's make man in our image so that we could be like him and fellowship with him. And that's what we've been learning. We want to cry out to God. We want to fellowship with God. We want to know what God has to say. And that's where, like I was talking about before, that trust, that stability that comes is because God said. And that's our hearts. He says he drew me up out of a horrible pit, a pit of turmoil and destruction. I know we feel, especially, like she was talking about when you're a teenager, when you're a young adult and you're trying to figure out what's next. And sometimes you feel that turmoil of now what? And it says God he draws you out of that. He when you cry out to him, he brings you out. He shows you what to do. And it says, out of the miry the clay, and he set my feet on a rock, steadying my steps and establishing my goings. And that's what God does for us. When we cry out to him, and we just want to know, God, I want to know you, and I want to know your way. I want to know what's right. I want to do your will. And he does that for you. He gets all that torment and that uncertainty, the doubt goes away. And God gives you everything you need, whether it's a beautiful wife, wonderful children, friends in your life, family, whatever it is that you need to serve God, God gives it to you when you cry out to him. He says, he put a new song in my mouth, a song of praise to our God. And many shall see and fear, revere and worship, and put their trust and confidence in the Lord. And that's even, when we got married, God gave us a song. And that was part of the song that God gave us, is we want to be an example. We want to show people God and how good God is. And it really it's been absolutely the word of the Lord that God has given us, that God's blessed us even with our children. We were talking just the other day about how God provides for our children, and we go places, and it seems like almost everywhere we go, God's using somebody to give our children something, and we weren't even. Sometimes it's things that we may have thought of, like the secret petitions of our heart, and other times it's things we didn't even know we needed, and God just gives it to them. And it's a blessing that God gives, and He just shows His love for us. And it's not something that we had to strive and go after, or wonder how we're going to pay for them, how we're going to get this for them. God just does it. And it says, blessed, happy, fortunate to be envied is the man who makes the Lord his refuge and trust, and turns not to the proud or to the followers of false gods. And like I was saying before, that's where we are. We don't want to turn to false gods. We don't want to turn to mammon or to money or to people or things to try to figure out, how we're going to be taken care of. We want to keep our hearts. Just turn to God. God, you're going to take care of us. You've done this, everything that we've ever needed. You've never failed us, and you're there. We're going to trust you no matter what. We never want to lose that place of our trust in God.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say that, and then the other part of that is God will put something in your heart. And like I said earlier, you'll have that something else come before it and say, oh, well, maybe this is the right thing. But when you have that word in your heart from God that says, you're going to wait for it, and you don't want to believe a lie of the devil that says, this is it. This is what you need. Go ahead. You can spend the money for this, or you can, go ahead and jump ahead of God. I mean, you got to have that truth in your heart that God said it's going to be this way. I want to just share also that the other thing is when you have someone in your life, whether it's like, John, God put John in my life. So I go to him and say, John, I really am wanting to get, I don't know. Well, I'll give an example of a new house. Like whenever God told us we were supposed to give a house, well, how much money can we spend, or how much this, or what do we need? And it was a lot to figure out, because you needed a certain amount of space. You needed to be in a certain area. You needed to be a certain amount. But, we know that God spoke to us that we were to buy us a house. And, one of the things I want to be is just living under God's authority in my life, and listening to my husband, or we both talk to each other. We know that God spoke to us, said to do this, And then God provided a house for us with the right price and the right rooms, the amount of rooms, the right amount of bathrooms. I mean, even the things like you said, like you don't even know that you really would like to have, but you don't really have. I mean, it even has a pool. And, you know, that's something that I always wanted when I was a little girl. And it's been a blessing to us and other people, and my children love it. And I want to read out of Psalms chapter 1, where it says, verse 1, "Blessed and happy is the man who walks and lives not in the counsel of the ungodly, following their advice, their plans and purposes, nor stands in the path where sinners walk." And I know that I do not want to, you know, listen to the devil and listen to what he has to say and listen to how he is telling me to go or which way to go. And we don't want to sit down where the scornful and mockers gather, but his delight and desire in the law of the Lord and in his precepts and instructions. And I was waiting for God to instruct me and God to instruct John on which way to go and if this is the right house, and who habitually meditates by day and by night. And that's what God wants us to do, is we're inquiring and asking Jesus when we get up, when we go to bed, you know, all day long. And that way he can speak to us. And I was looking around for this house. It's like, God, I was crying out to him, Jesus, I need a house, Jesus. We need a house, the right one, and the right one for children. And then at the time, his grandma was going to live with us, so we needed the right layout for it. Not like having steps. I mean, there were so many different things. And one day I was looking, and there it was. It was the house. It was exactly what God had for us. The perfect layout, the amount of rooms. And, you know, I had other people tell me, oh, look at this house, look at that house. But it wasn't it. And then God gave us both that peace. And then it was the right price for us.
And I just want to add real quick, you know, she was talking about the house. We didn't want a house just to have a house or to say we had a house. We wanted a house because we wanted to be a blessing. We wanted to provide for my mom, my grandmother. We wanted to make sure that they had what they needed in the right place. And that, you know, she was talking about there were certain things that we needed, there, like the access into the house. We needed to make sure it was the right place for my grandmother. At the time, she liked to sew. We needed a place where she could sew. Like Esther was saying, the secret petition that God had put in her heart, she really wanted a house with a pool. And like she said, we had looked at some other houses, and we were trying to hear, you know, God, what's the right house for us? And then God it wasn't something we had to go out and waste a bunch of time looking and striving. God provided, you know, God showed her the house, and then, you know, we had peace, and that was the house. And it wasn't like we need this, we want that, it's not big enough, it's not right. Okay, so it wasn't any of that. It was the house. Yes. And we knew God did it, and it's been a blessing to us. It was a blessing to my grandmother, my children. Other people were able to come and enjoy the pool, and come to our house, and it wasn't something that we had to try to get to enrich ourselves. It was a blessing. God wanted to bless us. We cried out to him, and he blessed us. And I mean, and then in verse 3 of Psalms chapter 1, it says, he should be like a tree firmly planted by the streams of water and ready to bring forth its fruit in its season. I mean, when God does something like this for you, or, you know, where he's put something in your heart and then you see the fruit of it, it just plants you more firmly to know, I want to serve God. I want to be with God. I want to inquire of him, because we know that he's going to provide for us. I mean, it's just right there. It says, its leaf also shall not fade or wither, and everything he does shall prosper. I mean, everything God does prospers. And God said, you know, like I said, to move here, I had prosperity. God gave us the house. It's been such a blessing to us. God gave us children, and they are such a blessing. God gave us his grandma and his mom, and they are blessings. And God gave us the church that we go to. I mean, it's such a blessing to have all of our friends and family in that church. God gave us pastors that we can go to for counsel. I mean, you know, we don't have to turn to the world. We don't have to turn to money. We don't have to turn to things to get that happiness. We have God in our life that will give us joy and peace, and he helps us prosper. You know, it says, but it's not so with the wicked.
They don't have that. They don't have the peace. Those disobedient and living without God are not so. They're like chaff. They're worthless, dead, without substance, which the wind drives away. And I know that me and John, and I am putting it into our children, we do not want to be that way. We don't want to be like the wicked. We don't want to live without God, and we don't want to be driven away and just like the wind, like a chaff. You know, for the Lord knows and is fully acquainted with the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly, those living outside God's will, shall perish and end in ruin. And I mean, that's one thing that me and John teach our children is God will take care of us, but if we are going to give to rebellion and be disobedient and not cry out for the will of God, then you either have heaven or you have hell, and it's written in your book, what you do every day. And I know that we have purpose that we do not want to go to hell. We want to live with Jesus forever in heaven.
And, you know, she was just talking about instructing your children, and one of the warnings in Jonah, actually, you know, he disobeyed God. God gave him a word, and he did not obey, and the judgment of God came on him. And then, but at least Jonah, in the middle of his trouble, he turned his heart to God. And one of the things it says when he's crying out to God, and in Jonah chapter 2, in verse 7, it says, "When my soul fainted upon me, crushing me, I earnestly and seriously remembered the Lord." And that's the thing, you know, when we do miss it, or if there's something happens and we feel that doubt or fear or that anxiety, you know, instead of being caught up in that, we want to turn our heart to God. And no matter what happens, wherever situation we find ourselves in, we want to turn our heart to God and not come under that lie of the devil that he's bringing. It says, "I earnestly and I seriously remembered the Lord, and my prayer came to you into your holy temple." And it says, "Those who pay regard to false, useless, and worthless idols forsake their own source of mercy and loving kindness." And you know, and that's the fear of God that we want to have, and we want to put it in our children, that we don't want to forsake our own source of mercy and loving kindness, because God's been good to us, and we don't ever want to turn after idols or after something that's false, whether it's money or things or just a lie of the devil, that there's, you know, the grass is greener on the other side or anything. We want our heart to be turned to God, because that when you do, that mercy is there. Even if you missed it, even if, you know, you started down the wrong path and you didn't hear God or something, you know, whatever's going on, when you turn your heart to God, that's the key. We want to turn our hearts to God. We want to cry out to God. And we want to hear God's voice, and we want to let God take care of us. But God, He warns us. You know, there was an example I wanted to share. It was before our oldest son was born. Esther was in a job situation. She was pregnant. Ended up, she lost her job, and I was in school. I was only working part-time. I was going to school full-time. She was kind of the main provider at that time, and she loses her job. We're getting ready to have a child. We have no money. We have a house. We have vehicles that we need to pay for. I have school that needs to be paid for, and then suddenly she has no job. So what are we going to do? So we cried out to God. That's the one thing. That's all we know to do. You know, is cry out to God. That's the only thing that's ever worked. So why try anything else? So we're crying out to God. What are we going to do? So she's looking for a job. She goes to a job interview. On the way to the interview, an elderly gentleman pulls out in front of her. He didn't see her. She has nowhere to go. There's nothing but a ditch for her to go into besides being hit. So she swerves off into the ditch. She's 26 weeks pregnant. And I'll let her tell, you know, her part of the story. But it could have been a devastating situation. It could have been a really bad situation. And I'm in class. She calls me. And, you know, in 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 23, the Shunammite woman, she was a blessing to the prophet of God. God blesses her with a child. The child grows up. He dies. And she immediately, instead of blaming God or blaming the prophet, her husband's asking her, you know, what's going on? Why are you wanting to go see the prophet of God? And she says, out of her heart, I believe out of faith, she says, it's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. You know, and that was the word that God gave me at that time to give to Esther. And that was the word of the Lord. It's going to be all right. And, you know, she goes to the prophet, and God raises him up to life. And at that time, you know, there was no amount of money could have saved that situation. I mean, there's no amount of money could have fixed what was going on there. But we turned our hearts to God, and God spoke to me, it's going to be all right. And I had peace, you know, even when she told me what was going on, I had peace that she was going to be all right, that our son was going to be all right, because God said that we were going to have a son.
Right.
And that was in both of our hearts. You know, even before we knew it was a boy, God had already told us that we were going to have a son. So that word of God was locked in our hearts, and there was no doubt, because we knew what God said. And you know, even when the fear tried to hit her, you know, she's just been in a major car accident. The car's totaled.
My seat actually shifted away, and the seatbelt had plugged me in. I could not get my door open. I mean, it was very frightening, and you know, and I was by myself at the time, and I remember looking over, and I looked down, and I could see my phone. I could see people around, and there was smoke, and the glass had busted out of the back of my car. I mean, it was very frightening. It was very frightening. And all I can remember is grabbing that phone as soon as possible and getting on the phone, calling my husband. And I could see other people calling the police. So I was like, I don't need to call 911. I'm going to call my pastor and someone else. And I say, please tell them to pray. And the word of the Lord came to me through my husband and through my pastor and said, it's going to be okay. The baby is fine. And you know, he was fine. I hurt. It was bruised, and I was, you know, it was in pain for a few days and couldn't hardly move. But, you know, God told us this is what's going to happen. You know, we were going to have a child, and we knew that this is what God put in our heart, that we were going to have a little boy. And the next thing, you know, there's the devil trying to destroy what God is doing. But it's like, no, we're not. God's in control, and we're trusting Jesus. We're trusting him.
That's right. And you know, one more verse in Psalms, and I'll move on. But this is in Psalms. It's 136. It's starting in verse 23. It says, "To him who earnestly remembers us in our low estate and imprints us on his heart, for his mercy and loving kindness endure forever. And he rescues us from our enemies. His mercy and his loving kindness endure forever." And that's what Esther was talking about. God's always there. He gives food to all flesh, for his mercy and his loving kindness endure forever. And that's what she was talking about, God's longing. He's waiting to be gracious to us. So if we just turn our hearts to him. It says, "Oh, give thanks to the God of heaven, for his mercy and his loving kindness endure forever." And that's exactly what she's just talking about. God's there. He's just waiting to do good to us. He's waiting to be good to us. And, you know, and in Hebrews chapter 3, it warns us. I'm just going to read a couple of verses. It says in chapter 3, verse 12 in Hebrews, it says, "Therefore beware, brethren, take care, lest there be in any one of you a wicked, unbelieving heart, which refuses to trust in God." And, it's a serious warning. It says, "While it's still called today, if you would hear his voice, when you hear it, do not harden your hearts." And that's what, like I said, we cry out. We want to hear God's voice. We don't want to be rebellious, like the people in the desert when they provoke God. It says in 18, it says, "To whom did he swear they wouldn't enter his rest, but those who disobeyed and wouldn't listen to him, refused to be compliant or persuaded." So it says they weren't able to willing in God's rest because they refused to trust and believe in God. And that's what we don't want to be that way. We want our hearts to be that we don't want to be those rebellious, or we start doubting God, or we want to go a different way, or figure out how to do it ourselves. We want our hearts to be that we trust God. And one more verse, it's in 1 John. You know, it's something that God's really worked in my heart. In 1 John 3:1, it says, "See what an incredible quality of love the Father has bestowed on us, that we should be permitted to be named and called and counted the children of God." And so we are. And it says, you know, we don't even know what we're going to be hereafter, but when we trust God and we are become like God, it says he's there. And it says everyone, in verse 3, it says everyone who has this hope resting on him cleanses himself just as God is pure. And that's, you know, like I said, we're crying out. Well, we want to be like that. We want our hearts to be torn toward God. We want to have a relationship with God. We want to be like him. We want our trust to be in him. And we just want to say thank you for joining us today. We're so grateful. We've enjoyed ourselves. We've been blessed. We hope you've been blessed. We have our programs on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 8:30 to 9. Or you can see any previous programs on the archive. It's wordoffaith.org. You'll be blessed. There's lots of testimonies there of other people sharing what God's done for them. Again, we just want to say thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a great day. Thank you.
WCAB